Soundbytes. Quick clips, long-term learning.
All right, so let's move into the listener Q&A section. We have here a question from Dr. Okafor, who is one of our emergency medicine residents, about ultrasound IVs. Let's take a listen.
Hey, Dr. Watson, it's Christy, one of the PGY2s. The other day, I was just realizing I'm always having a hard time following my needle tip when I'm doing ultrasound-guided IVs. Do you have any tips for me for getting better at those? Thanks.
That's a really great question, Christy. Ultrasound guided IV is super helpful in the emergency department, and we're often called on to place difficult IVs, and using ultrasound is super helpful. But it's really important to be able to follow your needle tip, and there's some other skills that are really important in incorporating this into your practice. To help answer this question, I'm going to bring in Dr. Yasmina Abdous, who is one of our excellent emergency medicine residents and is going to walk the listeners through how to place ultrasound guided IV. Yasmina, really happy that you're here. Thanks for being here.
Happy to be here.
So Yasmina, can you start off by walking us through what equipment you'll need to make this a successful procedure?
Of course. So, with any procedure, having all your equipment at bedside is the first step to success. In terms of things you'll need for an ultrasound guided IV, you will, of course, need some ultrasound gel as well as some sterile gel. For the actual IV itself, having a long 18 gauge or 20 gauge IV as your two options, having a J loop, the flush, a tegaderm for your IV, as well as a tegaderm for your ultrasound probe. And then, of course, things to prep and clean the area like a core prep.
So that's great. So now you have all your supplies together. How do you prepare the patient and prepare your probe?
You get your patient in the right position, put your tourniquet on. You're going to use the linear probe, which is the high frequency probe, using your unsterile gel. Put some gel on the probe and then get a tegaderm, put it on top of that probe, and kind of press out all the air bubbles. And so now you have a sterile probe cover, and you can use sterile gel to then look for your veins. And so you can kind of prep the whole arm, looking at a few points that are good targets, the AC, so you can get the cubital vein, or you could go in the inner arm and get the basilic vein. You could also look a little further down if there's no good targets up there.
So how do you tell the difference when you're looking through what's an artery and what's a vein?
The big thing is going to be compressibility. And so being comfortable with having light pressure while using the probe to be even able to see those veins, and then kind of compressing them down. They should be fully collapsible versus an artery be a lot thicker, pulsating, and wouldn't collapse as easily.
All right, Yasmina. So next, just walk everybody through how you go about actually inserting the IV now.
You'll first hold the probe with your non-dominant hand. Hold the catheter and the needle with your dominant hand. You'll hold the needle like at a 30, 45 degree angle. You'll have it kind of positioned right where that tick mark is on the probe, so that you're right in the middle of the screen, about half a centimeter away from the actual probe. When you're set up and you're holding the probe with your non-dominant hand, it's very important to try to anchor using your pinky or ring finger to hold on to the patient a bit so that you're not moving as much when you're actually trying to visualize the needle. And everything is small movements. Probe moves once, needle moves once. And so once you break through the skin with the needle and you can see the tip of the catheter on the screen, then you move your probe away from you. And then continue those small movements until you actually see the tip of the needle inside the vein.
Then once you do see the needle tip inside the vein, what's the next step and how do you actually thread the catheter?
So once you see the tip of the needle inside your vein, that's the point in which you want to flatten out so that you can push more of the needle into the vein and then thread the catheter over it.
So this technique that you're describing, is this called the in-plane technique or is this the out-of-plane?
So this is the out of plane technique. And so you're only seeing that needle tip as you're moving through the process. You can also do this in plane where you can actually see the entire needle breaking through and going into the vein.
Yeah, I find that with that in-plane technique, it can be difficult because just slight movement side to side makes you lose your entire needle tip. But you do need to be careful with the out-of-plane technique that you're following the needle tip, and that's why we're walking down in this stepwise fashion, and that we don't want to accidentally mistake the shaft of the needle for the needle tip. So we're always making the needle tip disappear on our screen and then reappear, just so we know that we're just following the very distal end of the needle tip. So commonly we have issues with IV access in pediatric patients. Do you have any tips for success with pediatrics?
Sure. So, big tip is always have a distraction, keeping them calm, right? So they're always moving around. The next thing you could do is also warm the extremity prior to looking for that vein that you're going to go for. And then the third tip, we think about it with adults, but you have to think about it a little bit more with kids, is just to not put as much pressure with the probe, and so that you're actually able to see those veins that you're going for. And then, if necessary, using some sort of topical anesthetic.
Awesome job, Yasmina. Thank you so much for sharing those pearls. To wrap it up, ultrasound-guided IVs come down to 3 things: preparation, visualization, and control. Start by gathering all your supplies and prepping your linear probe with a sterile tegaderm so you're ready before you touch the patient. Identify a compressible vein somewhere in the arms. It can be the forearm, the AC fossa, or the basilic area in the inner biceps, by using light pressure and confirming it collapses. Use the out-of-plane technique to track your needle tip. Move the probe forward, then advance your needle tip and see the needle tip show up right in the center of your screen. Move the probe a little bit and make it disappear, and then keep having your needle tip reappear on the screen so you know you're following just the needle tip. Once you see the tip in the vein, then you're going to flatten your angle and thread the catheter. Small movements, gentle pressure, and constant needle tip confirmation are the keys to success. With practice, this becomes one of the most reliable and satisfying procedures in the emergency department.
Soundbytes. Quick clips, long-term learning. This soundbite is a shorter, digestible segment taken from our monthly Soundcheck podcast. For the full episode, check out the podcast on YouTube at youtube.com/MedStar Emergency Physicians or visit mepsono.com.